Ganga Lal Shrestha, son of father Bhakta Lal Shrestha and mother Tulsimaya Shrestha, was born in the year 1919 AD in Ramechhap district, Bangeri village. He was the eldest son of Bhakta Lal Shrestha and Tulsi Devi. At that time, Bhakta Lal was the manager of Ramechhap Revenue Office. At the age of 5, Ganga Lal started his study in local school of Ramechhap. But as his father, Bhakta Lal, was posted to Okaldunga in 1924 AD, Ganga Lal was also forced to go with him. He was brought to Kathmandu a few years later to teach English. His uncle, Shankar Lal Shrestha, who was going to study medicine in Kolkata, also took Ganga Lal with him. After studying there for 2 to 3 years, Ganga Lal returned to Kathmandu. After that, Ganga Lal's education started at Darbar High School. Ganga Lal had passed the SLC in the first class in 1938 AD. He was studying ISc in Trichandra College. Ganga Lal Shrestha was fond of acting, and his acting was liked by all people. Apart from this, he was an excellent orator. In those days, the campaign against the Rana rules had been started by educated and conscious Nepalese. In 1936 AD, Mahabir School was founded to bring consciousness. Ganga Lal joined the school. The main aim of the school was to fill the students' heart with patriotic feelings. Ganga Lal was directly affiliated with the Nepal Civil Rights Committee established in 1937 AD. This organization was continuously raising public awareness by organizing regular discussion, debates, and speech programs. One day, in 1938 AD, Ganga Lal gave a lecture on human rights at Assam. He was arrested but was soon released. A secret political party, Praja Parishad, was formed on 2nd June 1936 AD at Om Bahal Tol in Kathmandu. The founding of the Nepal Praja Parishad was proposed by Dashrath Chand and Tanka Prasad Acharya in a hotel in Vimfedi, Makwanpur district of Nepal. Praja Parishad received the support of additional people including Dharma Bhakta Mathema. The organization head office was kept in Dharma Bhakta Mathema's house in Om Bahal. The leading members of the party were Tanka Prasad Acharya, Ramhari Sharma, Dashrath Chand, Dharma Bhakta Mathema, Jivraj, Chura Prasad, etc. The aim of the party was to overthrow the Rana rule and establish a democratic system of government under the leadership of King Tribhuvan Bir Bikram Sahadev. Dharma Bhakta Mathema was a physical instructor of King Tribhuvan, which allowed Dharma Bhakta Mathema to act as a go-between the king and the Praja Parishad. Praja Parishad party worked very secretly for some years. Initially, Nepal Praja Parishad distributed handwritten pamphlets among the people and wrote articles against the Rana dynasty in Nepal in an Indian socialist paper Janata and another paper published in Kolkata named Advance. Later, Tanka Prasad Acharya brought a printing machine from India, and the organization started to distribute pamphlets against the Rana dynasty to enlighten the people against the rule of Ranas in Nepal. In spite of all odds, King Tribhuvan secretly came in touch with the leaders of the movement. On being assured of the king's support, the movement gained momentum with the monarch as the focal point of inspiration and guidance. King Tribhuvan gave his moral support to the organization of the party. The king gave them Rs 4,000 Indian currency to meet the expense of the party. The Praja Parishad became active and started distributing pamphlets explaining the arbitrary Rana rule. For about 4 months, the government did not know who were doing it. Ganga Lal Shrestha and Ganesh Man Singh, the duo, began their search for the Praja Parishad. Once a week, they would search for any leads towards the party, and other days, both led their own lives. However, they were unable to find any leads towards the underground party named Praja Parishad. On one particular day, Dharma Bhakta Mathema asked Ganesh Man Singh to bring Ganga Lal along with him. The meeting had to be arranged in private because Ganga Lal was on payroll and under the observation of the Ranas. After the three met, Dharmabhakta Mahatma revealed that he was one of the founding members of Praja Parishad. Ganga Lal Shrestha and Ganesh Man Singh did not believe him. As a proof, Dharmabhakta Mahatma took out a pamphlet and told them that this was going to be the next pamphlet they would be seeing on the streets. After being convinced, the three headed towards Dharmabhakta Mahatma's home to read the content of the next pamphlet. As the three rushed down Bijeshwari Road, Dharmabhakta stopped suddenly. Dharmabhakta Mahatma said, "It is a prescribed rule of Praja Parishad that one must take a sacred vow before joining the party. We have arrived at the Bijeshwari temple. Let us take our vows here." The trio entered the temple. Dharmabhakta Mahatma stood in the center, Ganga Lal Shrestha to the right, and Ganesh Man Singh to the left of Dharmabhakta Mahatma. Touching the feet of Goddess Bhagwati, all three took the solemn vow. From today, our efforts will be dedicated towards strengthening the Praja Parishad. Should we be caught while pursuing our goals, we will rather die rather than implicate the lives of others. Thus, Ganga Lal and Ganesh Man Singh became the member of Praja Parishad. Soon, Juddha Shamsher became active in controlling the work of Praja Parishad. Juddha Shamsher announced the reward of Rs 5,000 to anyone who would give the information about the Praja Parishad. The reward tempted Ramji Joshi, a member of Praja Parishad, and he disclosed the secret. There was a cinema hall in Naranhiti Palace of King Tribhuvan. Every year, during the festival of Tihar, the Ranas used to give money for the king. In a conspiracy by Praja Parishad, the same cinema hall was to be bombed when King Tribhuvan would come out. On the same basis, many of the conspirators' houses were surrounded and were arrested. One day, Ganga Lal Shrestha arrived hastily at Ganesh Man Singh's house. Under his shawl, he was hiding the typewriter used to print the Praja Parishad leaflets. News was circulating that the police had searched Dharmabhakta Mahatma's house. Ganga Lal suspected police would search his home too, therefore had got the typewriter to hide it somewhere. After hiding the typewriter, Ganesh Man and Ganga Lal Shrestha went to Dharmabhakta Mahatma's house. The whole area was cordoned, and policemen could be seen searching the rooms. They caught a glimpse of Dharmabhakta, their last glimpse of Dharmabhakta as a free man. After a brief stay, Ganga Lal and Ganesh Man headed towards Ganga Lal's home. There too, police were frantically searching his home. "What should I do, Ganesh Manji?" Ganga Lal asked. Ganesh Man advised against the idea of fleeing away. Bidding goodbye, Ganga Lal headed towards his home while Ganesh Man sang to his own home. Ganga Lal was arrested. He was caught by the authorities in charge of distributing pamphlets in Asansol advocating human rights and found guilty of sedition. Ganga Lal Shrestha was accused of making a speech in the open forum and talking against the Rana rule. Juddha Shamsher established a special court to deal with the prominent member of Praja Parishad. According to the Count decision in 1940 AD, Dharmabhakta, Ganga Lal, Sukraraj and Dashrath Chand were given death sentences, whereas Tanka Prasad Acharya, Ramhari Sarma, Chura Prasad and Govinda Prasad were given life imprisonment as the killing of Brahmins were not allowed under Nepali law at that time. Dashrath Chand and Ganga Lal Shrestha were in the same jail cell. In the prison, they were given several torture and pain. They were asked to beg pardon, but they did not do so. Ganga Lal and Dashrath Chand were very close friends. They wanted to die together. After the Ranas had killed Sukraraj Sastri, Dashrath Chand had said to Ganga Lal, "Like a hero, one should die by shooting, not by hanging." Ganga Lal Shrestha was also in favor of sacrificing his life, shooting rather than hanging. He called the prison colonel and said, "We don't want to be hanged, we want to be shot. So, We want to request Ranas to order us to suit. Then Juddha Shamsher ordered Dashrath Chand and Ganga Lal to suit as they wish. They both laughed happily. According to their demands, the Rana ruler shot them dead at same place on the same day. January 26, 1941 AD, Ganga Lal's wife Hasina gave birth to a son. The news of the birth of a son was told to Ganga Lal in jail. Ganga Lal Shrestha sent a word to his house to name his son Sasi. Ganga Lal's father Bhakta Lal Shrestha and his siblings were called outside the gate of Central Jail on January 27, 1941 AD. Before handing down the death sentence, Ganga Lal came to the site of the family members at around 3:30 p.m., smiling and looking around, reminding them that death is certain after birth. If he apologized to the oppressor today, his family will regret that tomorrow. He was bowing to his father Bhakta Lal and saying, "Father, as told in our holy book Gita, you should not mourn while my perishable body is being destroyed. Bless me to be a martyr for the upliftment of motherland." After that, addressing his brother Puspalal Shrestha, he said, "Brother, you should never lead the light we have lit for the democracy in homeland. Go out, take it to every corners of Nepal." In 15 September 1949 AD, Puspalal Shrestha, the same young brother of Ganga Lal Shrestha, founded the Communist Party of Nepal, which played a key role in removing the Ranas. On 1941 AD, January 20th, at around 11 p.m., while being taken them to Shobha Bhagwati by Jagannath Deval, the house of Ganga Lal was on the way. Ganga Lal called his pregnant wife Hasina in a loud voice, but that voice did not reach his wife. Both Dashrath Chand and Ganga Lal Shrestha were blindfolded after being taken to the place of the execution along with 10 to 12 soldiers. Both of their hands were tied from back. Nara Shamsher first ordered Dashrath Chand to shoot. Dashrath Chand said, "Shoot Ganga Lal first." Immediately, Ganga Lal said, "Brother, I understand your point. I will not be scared if they shoot you first." Nara Shamsher Rana, the leader of the assassination team deployed by the Rana government at the last moment, asked to Ganga Lal, "Apologize, there is still a time." Brave Ganga Lal, who was tied to a stake, looked at Nara Shamsher's face with disgust and replied, "What have I done to apologize? Why should I apologize to a butcher like you? Instead, apologize to us for the atrocities you have committed." Shortly before this, executioner Nara Shamsher Rana had asked Dashrath Chand, who was tied, to waste his last wish. Dashrath Chand laughed and replied to Nara Shamsher, "I want to see the end of the Rana rule. Can you do that what I want?" Hearing this dull and fearless answer of Dashrath Chand, Nara Shamsher became angry. Nara Shamsher ordered one of his troops to shoot Dashrath Chand in the knee. Immediately, Nara Shamsher said, "Shoot his thigh." Dashrath Chand, his respected friend, a wise man like a teacher, a loving man like a good brother, could not bear the pain inflicted on him by the pimps of the tyrannical Rana rulers. Ganga Lal Shrestha turned to Nara Shamsher and shouted, "Shoot your father with one shot if you can." Hearing this challenge from Ganga Lal Shrestha, the executioner team leader Nara Shamsher got very angry. Bang! Nara Shamsher shot Ganga Lal in the knee. Nara Shamsher wanted to frighten Ganga Lal by showing Dashrath Chand's pain. But Ganga Lal became more and more abusive, expressing more and more hatred towards those cruel murderers and their disgusting boss, the Rana rulers. Immediately after his cunning attempt failed, Nara Shamsher fired another shot at Ganga Lal's thigh. Dashrath Chand was also shot in the thigh. Dashrath Chand began to shake with pain. Blood was flowing from Dashrath Chand's thigh. Meanwhile, Nara Shamsher ordered the troop, "Strike him in the chest." The bullet hit Dashrath Chand in the chest. Dashrath Chand died. After this, Narasamsher proceeded to inflict more pain on Ganga Lal. Narasamsher himself fired a third shot at Ganga Lal's thigh. Ganga Lal's torture began to suffer more. His left leg, including the blood-soaked trouser, began to tingle here and there. The sand beneath the feet fell off and fell into a crescent-shaped pit. As the feet moved, the sand on the ground suddenly splashed and spilled blood all over the feet. In this way, his feet was filled with the sand. Young Ganga Lal's pain also pinched the hired police taken by Narasamsher to shoot him. Seeing the scene of Ganga Lal's pain, that police himself started crying. That police refused to obey the order of Narasamsher. Narasamsher tried hard to convince that police to shoot, but that police was not ready to shoot. After that, Narasamsher ordered the police who shot Dashrath Chand to shoot Ganga Lal as well. By this time, the man who had been brought to shoot Dashrath Chand was also trembling. That police also refused to shoot, saying he could not go near Ganga Lal and he cannot shoot from a distance. After that, Narasamsher himself fired 2 shots as if to trick the man into firing, helping him to grab a pistol. The bullets hit Ganga Lal in the abdomen and groin. This took the life of Ganga Lal. His dead body was bending on the right side. His eyes closed. It was 2 o'clock in the morning when Ganga Lal was martyred. In this way, Ganga Lal chose his glorious death for the end of the autocratic Rana rule and for the liberation of Nepali people. He is considered as the first student martyr of Nepal. His monument is installed at Sahid Gate along with other 3 martyrs and the late King Tribhuvan. His statue is erected at the place of his execution. A road in Kathmandu has been named after him as Ganga Path. A National Heart Center in Kathmandu has been named after him as Sahid Ganga Lal National Heart Center. A comprehensive study of Ganga Lal's 22-year life reveals that he was a revolutionary warrior with indomitable courage, fortitude, thought, and foresight. It was the self-sacrificing will that motivated him to fight and sacrifice fearlessly against the autocratic dictatorship. Among the heroes who were martyred in 1941 AD, Ganga Lal Shrestha was the youngest in terms of his age, but he was not inferior to others in terms of political consciousness, patriotism, ideal of sacrifice, and so on. Thank you.